Hello, good afternoon. I bid you welcome to the weekly Organ House concert and seminar series. We're very happy to have you here. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for joining us. Again, we're here to explore another topical, engaging point of research as we normally do every week. So I bid you welcome, everyone. My name is Adedamola Olaore. Today, we're trying to explore forms of activism in political consciousness through songs of protest and political awareness music making. We're trying to isolate the special music of Eedris Abdulkareem, the, the Nigeria Jaga Jaga crooner. And who is doing this for us today? We have our amiable doctor, Dr. Nweke, to do that for us today. Dr. Nweke Florence. I just want to introduce Dr. Nweke. Dr. Nweke Florence is a distinguished scholar in the Department of Creative Arts in the University of Lagos, Nigeria. She has dedicated her research work to the intersection of music, culture, and social change via contemporary issues in music psychology. Her expertise lies in the roles of music as a tool in shaping national narratives. Dr. Nweke's work aligns with urgent needs to revive protest music in Nigeria, to analyze them and to bring them to the fore with respect to their relevance, conscious relevance. As the country faces economic challenges, as we all are feeling today, political unrest and social inequalities, understanding the impact of music in this system is very essential. I'm making a case study about Eedris Abdulkareem's Ebilokan becomes a relevant point of view. Our research shed light on how protest music can galvanize the citizen, amplify their voices, and hold leadership accountable. She examines the musical content elements of Eedris Abdulkareem's song, Emilokan. Ebilokan. Dr. Nweke, you're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olaore. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good to be here once again. I might be going off camera to maybe to forestall the internet disruption.
Oh,
so, but thank you for having me. Yes.
You're welcome, ma'am.
I'm going to be talking on Ebilokan, a music psychological analysis of Eedris Abdulkareem's song. A song is a piece of music that combines melodies, that combines lyrics to convey a specific emotion, to narrate a specific story, or to share a specific idea. It serves as a universal form of expression found in every other culture and civilization throughout history. So songs can be powerful tools for communication, for they are capable of stirring deep emotions and prompting reflection. And song, in other words, can also evoke emotions. They can either bring you joy, sadness, or give you a sense of longing. Songs must be original anyways. So we are combining both the music and lyrics that make up a specific song. So for you to categorize a particular thing to be song, it has to be based on specific themes, such as love, protest, party, religion, or politics. And songs are not in isolation. Lyrics, the words of the song, play a significant role in defining a song's theme or message. So in the context of Ebilokan, the Eedris Abdulkareem kind of music. What kind of song, what kind of music is Eedris's? Eedris has consistently used music as a platform to address societal issues. Over the years, Eedris has embellished his themes from everyday happenings within the Nigerian socio-economic environment. So should we now say Eedris music is protest music? Let's see what protest music is. Protest music emerges in terms of social change to capture feelings of cultural dissent and is a kind of device used for political persuasion intended to generate support for views that they present through its rhetoric, through its form, through the connectedness to specific social or historical context. The context we are dealing with, Emilokan, Ebilokan. A protest song is characterized by its intent to raise awareness, advocate for change, and challenge societal norms. A protest song is associated with movements for social change and falls under the broader category of topical songs, those connected to current events. Eedris's songs exhibit the hallmarks of protest music in the sense that it entails social critique, activism, and empowerment. It encourages listeners to question authority, to engage in dialogue, and work towards positive transformation. I would like us to listen to the song we are trying to talk about today. Mr. Adoyin, please, can you play the song for us, please?
Mr. President, please.
Emilokan, don't turn Ebilokan. Yorubas are screaming, Hausas are crying, Igbo brothers are saying, no blame them, Igbos have been discriminated. Even food don't turn to gold in Nigeria. Kidnapping, lucrative business in Nigeria. Imagine saying your grandchildren where they kidnap. By now, your soldiers for don't scatter Nigeria. How come a man won't get money for ransom when they kidnap him, his wife and his children? After everything, now kill, they go kill them. See, as Naira, they fall against dollar. Emilokan, don't turn to Ebilokan. And you say make we sacrifice for Nigeria. 7 billion to renovate your residence. 15 billion for your traveling allowance. That's not for you and your only vice president. 40 billion for Asurok maintenance. 5 billion for food and refreshment. 100 of millions for dogs and animals. Meanwhile, hunger they kill Nigerians. What did Nigerians do to warrant this treatment? Even Gary, they no fear afford for the family. Tinubu government blame Buhari. Buhari government blame Jonathan. Hunger day, people they die. This one don't pass jaga jaga. APC party leader during Mr. Buhari Jaga government. Why didn't you help Buhari to solve the problem? Debt under Buhari, 77 trillion. No proof of any positive transformation. Unborn children ain't go pay for this evil. You know, say Buhari was incompetent, but you still bring him to destroy Nigeria. Paddy government, now you are the president. Since Buhari don't destroy Nigeria, I hope say you go free bring him to judgment. Emefiele printed 23 trillion within 8 years under Buhari government. $6 million for election observers. They say somebody forged Buhari's signature. Now lie, Buhari signed that document, period. Where our refineries, where we promise to fix. I've been a Dangote refineries would they depend on? How much you don't make from removal of subsidies since you don't sell fuel for 600 per litre? People they sell their properties to feed their families. Meanwhile, you and your cronies they buy more properties. Shout out to Labour chairman, una well done. If the government say they no fit pay 65k, then make they pay Senator and Rep 65k. Make all of us they enjoy the suffering and and smiling. What you give is what you deserve. Ojoro no day. Free Nnamdi Kanu. Shout out to very black dark man. Where our daddy, Pastor Adeboye. During Good Luck Jonathan, your voice was so loud. You even vow to stage a 1 million march. Hunger and hardship under Tinubu government. You say Nigeria gets spiritual problem. Baba, we need your 1 million disciples to protest against President Tinubu government. Just the way you protest against President Jonathan. Daddy, I be leg on the pain your disciples. Fact. This na very big hypocrisy. It's time for you to speak the truth to power because hunger won't kill Nigerians. Tinubu government blame Buhari. Buhari government blame Jonathan. Hunger day, people they die. This one don't pass jaga jaga.
Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Doing. So Eedris is okay. Thank you. Yeah. Eedris Abdulkareem is a renowned Nigerian hip-hop, R&B, and Afrobeat artist who has consistently used music as a platform to address societal issues. Using the agentic view theory in simple terms, it recognizes that protest musicians are not passive. They intentionally create music to provoke change, challenge norms, and engage listeners. Their agency drives social transformation through music. In this song we listen to, we found out that it relates to protest music and its role in societal change is very vivid. The agentic view, however, emphasizes the individuals are active agents who shape their own behavior and influence their environment. It contrasts with the passive view that sees people as mere products of external forces. Now, how does this apply to protest music? Protest musicians embody agency by deliberately creating music that reflects their views, their emotions, and social critics. They self-organize to express discontent, proactively using music as a medium for change. They also do a kind of self-reflection which informs their lyrics, addressing societal issues and challenging norms. This is not only in the words or in the lyrics that is being played. The songs are specifically meant to provoke or evoke emotions and challenge listeners. One of the primary functions of protest music is its ability to evoke and amplify emotions. Music connects individuals on an emotional level, allowing them to express anger, to express hope, to express grief, or resilience, as it may be. Now, in the case of the protest songs, the combination of music, which is music, the music itself, and the words that are embedded in the music, aim to motivate people to take action by changing the way they feel about societal issues. Now, the music of Abdulkareem that we are examining today, we might not just jump into conclusion and say, oh, how do we know that it actually express all of these things we are talking about? I use the social listening method of data collection, in which I use the online monitoring of conversation. I went online, monitored discussion around the topic, and then the post that people, put up after the song was released. I analyzed metrics such as the views, the likes, the share, and then the comments that was trending at the time the music was released. And I found out that the Emilokan music garnered significant attention both online and offline since its release on June 15, 2024. On Spotify alone, it has over 11,579 views as at 13th of July, while although the exact number of charts for that time was just about 185 charts that people, put up, but it has over 470 views on YouTube. It has, 1.6 reposts, quotes, 64 quotes, 3.4 likes, and the others on Twitter. Other social media platforms also have people reacting. Facebook also had several reposts, you know. So this indeed tells us that people were actually in support of what is going on. Now, going by the lyrics, I said lyrics, for those who are not in music, is simply the words, the wordings in a song. Lyrics play a significant role in shaping emotional responses to music. They convey meaning, they evoke memories, and connect with listeners on a personal level. Research has shown that lyrics directly affect emotions and can alter our psychological states. The charts, which everyone or each person who listened to the music at the time it was released responded to or gave up to us, reflect these cathartic aspects, with listeners expressing their emotional responses to Idris's song. They found solace in its message and feel understood, responding to a kind of catharsis, that's galvanic skin reaction, in a way that made them to express their emotions in the way the music got to them. So music provides an outlet for individuals to experience collective grievances. It allows them to express frustration, to express anger, to express hope, or the grief that they are going through at that point in time when the music was released to them. So catharsis often occurs when listeners find relief through music. It's like releasing yourself from pent-up emotions, and then you are connecting with others who share similar feelings with you. So you release those emotions and you feel better. In the case of this song, let's look at it from the Geneva Emotional Music Scale, where it was typically grouped into three: sublimity, vitality, and unease. One of the authors that I examined suggested that the chances of triggering an emotional responses is not only based on the use or the reaction that is coming out of it, the aesthetics that the music possesses, but it, in all its entirety, contains the. Are you with me, please?
Oh, you man, please go on.
Okay, so that reaction to music requires many factors to be in correct alignment and state of interaction. So it's based on this, we are going to examine the music of Abdulkareem, which include the structure of the music, the performance of the music, the state of the listener, and the context of the listening situation. And that was why we used the social listening method that we did, so we don't have to, overgeneralize that the music of Abdulkareem is this, is that. So looking at the Abdulkareem Emilokan music consists of extracts from different musical genres, which is a common trend among 21st century pop artists. He is known as a hip-hop artist. He made use of hip-hop rhythm in 4/4 time all through this music that we listen to, in order to accommodate both rapping and Afrobeat vocal styles, which occurred at the middle section of the track in a call and response manner, before returning back to rapping at the third section. The chordal progression assigned to the piano in the notated music is totally that of Afrobeat. It can as well be played with other chordal instruments like the guitar. The lyrics too is of Afrobeat style. The music combined both Afrobeat and hip-hop genre, and so can be referred to as contemporary Afrobeat genre. The key signature that was used, like I mentioned, was 4/4. There was a complete deviation from the usual, not time signature, the key signature. There was a complete deviation from the usual key F major or G major commonly used by Nigerian pop artists to the new trend of raising the same keys by a semitone to F sharp and G sharp in a bid to arrive at a better tone color. In this case, G sharp is used but notated in its harmonic equivalent A flat major for easy reading. The thought-provoking content engages listeners, making them reflect on social and political realities. Its lyrics hold leaders accountable, urging them to address hardships faced by citizens. By so doing, Eedris used his music as a platform for social critique and activism. The song challenged leadership at all levels, especially at religious level. Eedris questions why religious leaders aren't speaking out against the current administrative or administration failures. The psychological reactions in the charts, as it relates to music psychology surrounding the Emilokan, reveal several psychological reactions. Empathy. Respondents expressed solidarity with the song's message, feeling the pain and frustration conveyed by Eedris Abdulkareem. Listeners found validation in the lyrics as the song articulates their own grievances about leadership and societal challenges. Despite the critical tone, the song inspires hope for change, motivating listeners to take action. Some respondents expressed anger towards current corrupt politicians and religious leaders. Eedris Abdulkareem's courage and activism evoke admiration from listeners. The psychological responses observed in charts related to Eedris' song, Emilokan, align with principles from music psychology, which is a kind of congress with musical valence, in the sense that the level of valence was like +1 as against a negative valence of -0.00. So the research shows that the song of Ebilokan shows that there was a significant positive valence, which evoke positive emotional responses in Eedris Abdulkareem's song. And we can identify positive valence through the following elements. The audience responses in the charts. But before I go to the chart, the lyric content, the song addresses societal issues. The tone is critical, but addressing issues that imply for positive change as far as hope is concerned. And then the melody, the rhythm, the instrumentation contribute to the overall emotional tone. Positive variance is present in uplifting melodies, harmonies, or chord progressions. The charts and comments from listeners express admiration, validation, and solidarity with the song's message. This positive engagement reflects the emotional impact of Emilokan. Emilokan carries a sense of hope and resilience, contributing to its positive variance. High arousal. Music with high arousal levels is, with energetic beats, elicits a kind of tension and arousal. New trend of raising the same keys by a semitone to F sharp and G sharp in a bid to arrive at a better tone color. And then there was also a kind of top-down processes. Music psychology sometimes considers both bottom-up and top-down cognitive processes, in the sense that they perceive the world by drawing from what we already know to interpret new information, using schemas such as past experiences, emotion, prior knowledge, and then sensory interaction. And then sometimes they also use things that go beyond the eye and the brain, and then use contextual information according to Gary's theory, which says sometimes information are lost when you look at them, just looking at them from the eye and the brain. So in this particular one, there was a kind of connection between what Eedris performed years ago, several years ago. He wrote the Nigerian Jaga Jaga and performed the Nigerian Jaga Jaga music. So when he released this one, the prior experience with, Eedris said something like this, that was when Nigeria was even Nigeria. Right now, he's writing something else, he's singing something else. Let's pay attention to what he's saying. People who were alive at the time, or who were, were living at that time when the Jaga Jaga was released, were able to reckon with this present music, and the connection with past experience, the emotion that they felt. This guy said it at the time, it was as if he was prophesying evil. But right now, what he said at the time is now, the connection, the memory of the past and the present now evoke a kind of nostalgia in people. So there is an association and memory, which music triggers personal associations and memory, influencing emotional experiences. Now, going by all of this, we are always in the bit of trying to connect what we do with realities about what is the United Nations saying about all of this. Music is a potent tool for change. It transcends geographical, cultural, language barriers. So it inspires action and raise awareness. So this study, this particular Emilokan and Ebilokan, resonates with the Sustainable Development Goals, which address leadership, hardship, and social justice through music. By questioning government accountability and advocating for justice, Eedris Abdulkareem's song contributes to the Sustainable Development Goal number 16, which is peace, justice, and strong institutions. So we can say that music, protest music, is a viable tool to convince the government, to convince people that action should be taken before it escalates into wars. Action should be taken before it results into something we cannot cope with. For instance, protest music has exemplified by artists like Fela, exemplified by artists, Pulse, who wrote something the last time the EndSARS was held, and some other musicians, young musicians, that their music was used, were used during the EndSARS time, although some of them are not protest musicians. But this shows that musicians embody the agentic view of personality, encouraging critical thinking and amplifying marginalized voices. Just as music psychology explores how melodies and lyrics impact our emotions, protest music shapes our collective consciousness. It is important for us to celebrate and promote this genre, recognizing its power to evoke empathy, to ignite activism, and foster lasting transformation. However, in 2022, thereabouts, I wrote an article on the decline of protest music in Nigeria. A lot of things still need to be done as far as protest music is concerned. And then we need to see if we can use this means to get to that point where ordinarily our voice cannot get to. But as musicians, we're using this as a tool that can help us intervene in the current issues, the current problems we are facing as a people in Nigeria. If we can use our tool, our music, our arts to, to sensitize people, to create awareness, to advocate for change, it will help us as a people, it will promote us as a nation. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was very inciting. That was very educative. That was very thought-provoking and very loaded. I really appreciate that. That was an eye-opener for me as well. I want to invite all our listeners who want to ask questions. You could do that by raising your hands. And while we're waiting for you, I want to ask Dr. Nweke, protest music from popular artists like this, is it not also possible for opposing parties to instigate them to bring them up so that they can gain political points? How about that? Yes, you have stated all the positive aspects, especially in calling awareness, inciting the people, informing them, and calling for justice. But at the same time, we know the realities in Nigeria. Can they not be used now by opposing parties to also gain political points or bring down their opponents?
Yeah, that is why I mentioned that we cannot analyze protest music based on maybe utilitarian and aesthetics, but different factors contribute to our analysis. And when you do those analyses, looking at the content, looking at the lyrics, looking at what this message stands to give, you know it is what is happening. There is no hide and seek again about what anyone can do, especially now, the democratic era, people can do a lot of things. People are even bought over to do certain things because in the Kaki area where we have military government, you cannot just go on and do anything anyhow, kind of. But right now you have freedom of expression, you have freedom of doing things the way you want to do. Right, people may be instigated by other parties to pull down a particular government, but in the context of what we are saying, when we look deeply into the lyrics of this song, we are all human beings. We are all individuals. We are people. And we know that we are not against government per se, but all that is happening is also eating at us. So we cannot just conclude and say, oh, somebody somewhere is using somebody to instigate against. We are only looking from the point of view of music. And we are looking at the lyrics here, that the lyrics aligns with what we are going through as a people. Let's take action. That is just it. Is that okay?
Thank you so much. Yeah, quite. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. One more point I want to raise. How do we, when analyzing lyrics as well, not just the melody, how do we come to terms with appreciating the vulgar, so this part of the lyric that sound a bit vulgar, not necessarily the one we're analyzing that, but we know that some of these protest music come with all sorts of insulting words at some point because of maybe agitation, because of you want to express the way it feels and you're not happy about this, and some of them are going to some extreme words. Where do we place that so that we are not inciting the society in a negative way?
Protest music is associated with movements for social change. And then it falls under current events and all of that. So it depends on the individual who is performing and churning out this kind of music. I wouldn't want to associate with insultive music, kind of. Do you understand? Okay. And I know that a lot of musicians who are into this kind of music too want to pass their message across. But maybe in the process of the grievance they want to express, they might just want to put insults. But then the message and the words has to be clear to make the people that you are passing the message across to understand what is going on. You do not have to, incite a form of hate or insult anyone just to get your point across. It's individual, it's individuals, but I do not advocate for insultive or abusive words. The words, the lyrics, the social message, the content, the change you want to evoke, the change you want to bring in, if you put it in your music, either you like it or not, it will still hit who it will hit without you necessarily saying anything, being insultive, kind of.
Yeah. Thank you very much, ma'am. Quite appreciate that. Yes. Adedamola Isuola, you have the floor now. Adedamola Isuola.
Hello. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. You're welcome.
Yes, I want to appreciate our guest speaker. May the Lord continue to strengthen her. It was a wonderful presentation. I have two questions. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, please go ahead. We're listening.
Okay. My first question is also related to what you asked the other time. I'm trying to see whether there is a place we can draw a line between hate speech and protest music. That sometimes I think during the last regime is this issue of hate speech. I don't know, where can we really draw the line between hate speech and protest music? And secondly is I'm trying to relate today's lecture with last week lecture. I want to ask, actually I came in late. I don't know whether our speaker has tried to score this man's music so that maybe from there we can develop a theme like I'm trying to relate it to last week seminar so that maybe it can be performed, maybe we have the score and then I don't know whether the speaker has tried to do something like that. So those are my questions, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Sorry, Dr. Nweke.
Yes, the music is called, we have the score, we have it. I should share it with doing, I don't know if we have the score here. And then you are trying to, create a divide between hate speech and then music, protest music, as the case may be. We are people and we don't want to be religious about this, but at the same time, you are giving out what you have. You can't take that out from anybody. If people are trying to pass their message in a very abusive way, you know that that's who they are. But like I mentioned when Mr. Olaore asked me the question, you can actually pass your message across without hurting anyone directly by insulting them. You know, we have a lot of work to do on ourselves. We have a lot of work to do as a nation. There will always be the other party that is not in favor of one person or the other. However, musicians, that is why in school where we teach music, we have different areas in music that we do. It is not just about performance, it is not just about singing, it is not just about instrumentation or playing of instruments. We have other things that are connected to music that can actually lead to change. And when we do those things, as much as possible, we are educated not to do things that we create a form of, incite war. Let me just put it at that. Things that will, instead of ameliorating or making sure that things return back to peace, you are now creating more wars and wars and wars. And when the war eventually comes, are you able to cope? So it's the individual. So we can always create awareness. So musicians, you can drive home your point without actually insulting anyone in the way that you can do it. I think that's how I can just put it. But if there's anyone in the audience that is able to add to this point, I think it's really welcoming for us. Yeah.
Thank you so much, man. That's quite understandable, because it has to do with the individual musician. The problem is that some of them may not be as enlightened or educated to know where to draw the line, just like Mr. Adeshola asked. It may not be enlightened enough to draw the line or know where to properly put it, so that they will have passed across a good message without being insultive or vulgar. It is well. I quite appreciate that contribution, ma'am. Any more questions for Dr. Nweke on this very exciting topic? Any more questions? I'm looking out for your raised hands. Okay, while we're waiting for the next question, I still on the line we were talking about. Eedris, towards the end of the music, went as far as calling out Pastor Deboye to lead a protest. Would that be an appropriate thing to do with that tool of protest music? The man is not a politician. He's not in that line. Why would you call him out to come lead a protest in that line? I mean, that is for further analysis, but I think that's the world where we're coming from. What do you think, ma'am?
Yeah, I think that speaks so well to associations and memories. I believe Eedris was just expressing his grievances about the past during the NSAS, where, it started a kind of peace protest. And it was a kind of prayer walk where, churches led by the Redeemed Church were trying to ensure that we put an end to police brutality.
Brutality, yeah.
And so people believe that, actually they meant well. It was a peace walk. In fact, it was just simple song and, Christian worship that people started with. I remembered I watched some clips, online where they were holding hands, praying and singing as they go. They wanted something better. They wanted to be a voice for the youth. They wanted to just speak peace. It started as a form of prayer, I think the association was like, if people can actually do that at the time, why are you not saying now that we are even going through a lot? You are not saying anything. Eedris may just, I don't know, I'm not Eedris, but I'm just saying that it's a kind of emotional reaction, association and the memories. They connected past experience prior knowledge, emotional experience that people gone through in the past. They connected them together. And maybe that's why he came up with this, that, oh, if this person was able to do this and he was a voice, we know him as a very good voice in this nation. Why is he not saying something about this? What is happening? I believe. So, but ordinarily, like I said, our culture, we don't take away tradition from what we do as a people. Our culture respects elders. So we cannot say because we are musicians, we have all it takes to do our music, we go on disrespecting elders. So I don't know, I don't want to be biased, but I will not encourage disrespect in any form. Even though if I want to use my tool, I want to make people know that what is going on. Some people are not saying, I will not categorically disrespect anyone. And so musicians should not, there should still be that gap. There should still be that culture that we have, the culture of respect, the culture of not despising our elders, not looking, it is not in our culture. It may be in other climes, but it is not in our culture to disrespect anyone. So that is just what I would say. He might have been expressing some form of grievance as a result of associations and memories, but then we still stand that disrespect is a no.
I appreciate that, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. Of course, it comes from some of this, our analysis, our advocacy, to let them know and make it obvious that, come, this is the way to go. When everybody contributes his voice in this process, I'm sure we'll be able to reach an understanding, both the artist and the listener, the way to actually modify some of these things. But there's always a gap of people on the street and the people maybe in the academia, or people who are just observers or watching. So once there's that gap, everybody is on his own. But if we can reach a compromise of, okay, agreeing on some of these things, to go a long way to help us with our reaching a unified voice of advocacy, consciousness, but at the same time, being respectful, being cultured about it. Thank you so much, ma'am. Really appreciate that. I want to ask if there's any more questions before we round off today. Any more questions from any of our listeners and followers? Okay, Augusta Philip, you're welcome. Augusta Philip, you're welcome. Please ask your question. Hello? Augusta Philip, can you hear me? Apparently, there's a network problem at that end. Augusta Philip, please go ahead. You're welcome. You can unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, please, and go on. Augusta Philip, unmute yourself and go on. Please unmute yourself and go on. Augusta Philip, you're still muted. That's why we can't hear you.
So I just sent this call to Doing. You can share it.
Okay. Thank you very much, man. We quite appreciate that. Yeah, so we can always follow up with the organized seminars and concert series for the score. Actually, the program, concert house, seminar, and concert series also has a harm of archiving materials, and this is one of them. So we're building a library. We have a lab and a library that's archiving materials such as this. So we're already building and working on that. So you can always reach us for such materials and resources. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your contribution to our archive. Dr. Nweke, thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Apparently,
Thanks.
apparently, Augusta Philip is having an issue with connection and unmuting. I sent a message to her just now. All right. Okay, the score you sent, ma'am.
Sent
Did you send
to
it
doing
doing on WhatsApp, right?
it, yes, on WhatsApp.
On WhatsApp, okay. So I'm sure you follow up from there. Okay. Just trying to get to see message from. Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Apparently, we have had such an enlightening session that most of our followers and listeners are quite educative and satisfied with what they've gotten. And so there are no questions today. But of course, the discussion continues. The questions may not come now, but as we ruminate on some of these very topical issues and research contemplations, I'm sure the questions will come. And when they come, we're still open to them. Like someone referred to our last week session, we can always go back and open a discussion again and enlighten ourselves on some of these very exciting issues. So if there are no questions today, I really want to appreciate you, Dr. Nweke, for a very deep and educative session. We hope we can get your slide for follow-up as well, apart from this call, so that we can also get to follow up on the slide.
Yes, we're doing.
Okay, thank you so much, man. So next week is another time with the Organ House concert series and seminars. We take pride in analyzing and discussing, contemplating on very deep topical issues of societal importance, of relevance in the music arena and in the societal views. And we appreciate your followership, we appreciate your contributions, we appreciate all the interesting things we do here together. So let it continue again next week. My name is Adedamola. Olaore. Thank you very much, all our followers, for coming. Thank you, Dr. Nweke, for a wonderful time. Next week is another time. Have a nice day. God bless you.